Hello my dear tamers, it's been a while and sorry that this took so long to make, but a lot of things happened in the game, so I had to rewrite this video like 4 times, also for the last month until the restriction of, Shadbone X4 and Sunrise Buster. Honestly, I wasn't enjoying the game that much, so I didn't feel like doing content, so excuse me there. The objective here is to give you a hopeful and different perspective of the game. It's an idea that may help you get more used to what Digimon TCG is doing and what will probably become. So let's start. Before and after BT08. At this point, I'm 100% sure that the game had a big shift in card design for BT08. The game before and after feel completely different. And that's not an accident. I have been playing since day one and have seen every meta until this point. We used to play cheap evolution to quickly get to the highest levels where our Digimons had the most powerful effects. Many times cheat our way to skip evolution steps, get more security attacks, attack multiple times with one or more Digimons, etc. You know how this works. With BT6 and BT07, something reached a dead end. We warped our Digimons from level 3 and level 4 into level 6 and 7, just skipping anything in between. We evolved from tamers since they acted as an indestructible level 3 in the race in the battle area. This was the ceiling, mechanically speaking, of how we used to play the game to this point. The only deck that played a normal evolution strategy was Chessmon at the time, and was because it had an OTK capability, honestly. The problem was clear. It was boring, predictable, and kinda broken. This is why I believe that the new starter decks and the introduction of the BT8 set was the first step on a new way of playing Digimon. A version where synergy of cards matter more and the level 4s and level 5s have important effects worth considering instead of just rushing to the highest level. A game where the control of the field was more important than just trying to go big in the racing area. I know, BT9 was like exactly that, but humor me here, step by step, let's go forward. This change in the game design is why any card before BT8 feels power creep, but it's a feeling. Many can be used, but they aren't the main core of your builds. They just belong to a different game. They just don't fit together. Weirdly, the cards we most use from older sets are commons and uncommons. Cards that have a very simple support effects which can fit in any builds. With all that said, the main problem of shifting the game made itself clear. You need a new pool of cards. Worst of all, the game at that time wasn't even 2 years old. We didn't have enough cards really to reset everything. So, instead of making a whole new pool hitting the reset button, the game designers decided to go 2 ways at the same time, giving you very important cards that fit the new game style, and at the same time try to support all cards by making tribal archetypes. One of the most clear examples are Mastemon and Chessmon decks. A card like Magna Angemon or Holy Angemon, mostly used for security control, find itself on Mastemon builds, thanks to the design of Flame Hellside option card. It fits perfectly with him, but also with the rest of level 5 angels to the game had at that point. Almost perfect, except it didn't fit Lady Devimon with 8k. Yeah, not everybody can fit, right? So they give us a new one on the starter deck. Chessmon got its limited card, so instead of rebuilding the whole archetype, that could be the best option, they supported the existing one by adding more cards and a new Chessmon to fit it better. More Systemons with various skills and working as searchers, put the deck in the same level as others, so now it didn't have to go for memory boost for consistency. Many cards were saved with the thoughtful design of BT8. Remember Lord Naimon, Shadbone DX, Nihonmon? Yeah, me neither. not everybody has a salvation. But even now, on BT11, we find old cards making comebacks with the new support. Sukamon, Etemon, Tyrannomon, Ulforce Vidramon, even Vergamon, no one's favorite. Sorry to the Vergamon fans. This is why I believe BT9 was such a bad set on purpose. Not because a mistake was made, but as a necessary evil to support all cards and the release of some key pieces for future sets. Cards for Agumon and Garurumon were revived with BT9. The Guilmon deck became a solid pick. The special evolutions with the black frame, the special evolution they have, became a normal thing now. The introduction of same level evolutions, the X antibody concept, and of course, protection effects. Continuing with this train of thought, let's explore some effects that came after BT8 but are quite similar to old ones. Shivamon, discard an enemy security when becoming active, and stop your opponent from using option cards. A skill that only emergency program shutdown could do. It is power creep? Well, nah. For this to happen, Shivamon and all your Digimons in the battle area have to be rested, vulnerable. Black Greymon kills Tamers more easily than Sword Defeat and Lucemon Fallen, but only if you play the right colors. Marsmon and Metal Greymon, the inherited skill of Metal Greymon, let you attack active Digimons with the right conditions. Again, something a card could do before, that it was Tyrannomon, who also had the condition of doing it with the Tamer. Ophanimon Fallen mode does a recovery like Seraphimon, but now can kill a level 4 or lower, not to mention the on-deletion effect, an effect that could be similar to the old Mastemon card, but again, all this could happen by playing the right color to have as a base to fulfill the conditions. If you didn't have purple or didn't have yellow in the bases, you couldn't use all the Ophanimon Fallen mode skills. Metal Garurumon from BT1 and Imperialamon from the starter deck are very alike, but still, because of archetype and evolution cost, they have their differences. But virtually, they do the same, they play a Digimon from the bases, level 4 or lower, kinda the same. BT9 really can't be compared too much this set to the rest because, as I said, it was a transition set, it was pretty unique. It brings support to all cards and introduced more dual color cards and Tamers as we had, but in BT10 the whole Digicross mechanic got introduced. Other way to play big Digimons by using more cards as sources and cost reducers. I already talked about this in a previous video, but for the point of this argument, even though it seems broken as a game mechanic, the reality is that it's heavily limited by the archetype or sometimes by other conditions. What was the most close to this mechanic before BT8 was how Machine Dramon was played, but you needed to have everything on trash, and this Digicross mechanic is a little more easy to trigger and to use. Minervamon and Venusmon were level 6 that, instead of having active aggressive effects, were made to control the battlefield and limit or punish your opponent because they are trying to make certain plays. Because until now, the best we could do on an opponent's turn was blocking. With all this said, this is where it gets interesting, because if all this was power creep, then why no cards post BT8 become obsolete? Many decks from that set are power creep, say some people. But after my friends and I were testing it and playing it, in competitive, we didn't feel like they were behind. They just needed some new tech that came after, for example in BT10, and they become quite useful. Even the starter decks of Dukemon and Ulforce are still relevant and useful. But what is the deal with all this? We started using archetypes. Yeah, I know. Who could see that answer coming, right? Well, but the thing is, X3 and BT11 showcase this even more, this fact, making new powerful Digimons and effects, but limiting them to the specific archetype or a certain combination of cards needed dodging any possible broken combos. Before this point, we have decks by colors mainly. You know, we used to play red, blue, purple, black. And now we have Greymon deck, Garuru deck, Insect deck, Black X Antibody deck, Mastermon deck, Gallantmon deck, Dark Knightmon deck, Examon, Machine Dramon, etc, etc, and so on and so on. Decks may share color, but their playstyles are completely different and still be on the same level of the metagame. The card designs of X3 show this in such oblivious way that it's impossible to ignore. Full evolution lines dedicated to Examon, the 4 Great Dragons, Imperial Dramon, and even the Digimon Link's original dragons. At the same time, this is the set that shows the main problem with this kind of game design. Some cards are so linked to the archetypes or need such a strong support that if the deck can fill all the slots, it becomes a weak deck. This is why decks like Examon and 4 Great Dragons didn't make it that good on the meta despite looking very good at the start. Their combos are good, but both decks are missing some level 3s and level 4s to fill all the spaces, making it a little bricky sometimes. And without those very powerful inherited skills, the main cards can't shine. Not the same that is happening to decks in BT11, where we have the archetypes, but all cards go fill some gaps and actually help in an active way. Not that much really, but you know, enough to make the decks go smoothly, like Etemon, Phoenixmon, and even Ulforspidramon. Okay, so the weakness of the archetypes that don't get enough support can be easily fixed just by adding more cards in the next set. Like, let's see this. How Shadowbone X4, Doru Greymon, and Sunrise Buster got limited proves that the sets were not think that much ahead. I mean, come on, if you are designing Cross Hearts, how you couldn't see the abuse of Sunrise Buster coming? Since Bandai don't think that much ahead, the cards that the game needs can be added super fast, which could lead to other cards and needing to have a restriction-led editor. Yeah, I know. You know, it's a double-edged sword. If they need to add something to the game fast, they can do it, but since they do some cards in a rush, they can actually fuck up the game, like it happened many times before. Still, with all this, the cycle continues. Even if we had 5 months of meta gatekeeping by Cross Hearts, after this restriction, you know, players actually took other decks that were left behind, and now we have like a bunch of decks. Players that only used Black Greymon X or Grandis Kuwagamon as the only way to bypass Cross Hearts started to use Machine Dramon, Ulforce Dramon, Tyrannomon, Mastemon, Etemon, and personally I can see a healthier game where you can use easily 12 decks on the meta. Something unheard before BT8, right? Bandai's gamble on the new game design actually paid off. They may have terrible organization of events, shitty prices, and they don't hear the fanbase. But goddammit, the game designers and the artists are really pulling this boat out of the storm. With this, I want to make 2 final notes of a game changers that some people won't like it, but I feel it's the step on the right direction. As you may know, since BT9 we got Digimons that can gain protection from different sources by inherited skills mostly, and in X3 with Examon Blue evolution line that has evasion, or you know, the way Black Greymon gained protection with the X antibody. The age of where you have to hide in the rising area until you have a big combo, it's over. People may not like it, but it's like that. A game where the control of the battle area seems to be where we are headed, honestly. It's not enough to just throw a deleter to a Digimon anymore. You need a plan to take them down. So maybe if they have protection against many things, you DIGI-Evolve them. If they have protection against deletion, you try to or take their resources down or bounce them or send them to the bottom. You see how I'm going. Or maybe just delete them twice in the same turn until they run out of protection. They will stay in the battle area and they will keep pressuring you. Or like the Digicross Digimons, they could die, but thanks to the save mechanic, you don't waste them, or they die, but they are still resources for the future. And the second note that goes well with the previous, the dual skills of Digimons. Usually we only had on-play effects or evolution effects, but now we are starting to have both together, giving chances to evolution-based decks to make unorthodox plays or unexpected comebacks without having to go all the way from level 3 to level 5 and 6. I know it's a risky play, but still means that you can still do something even when you don't have nothing in the battle area. The playstyle as we knew until now may change drastically and people will start to complain. Not because it's unfair, but they will feel like it is. We will probably have to relearn all over again how to navigate a Digimon game. So let's finish this video with a little piece of information to have about the game. In the horizon we have the release date of the last and next sets that is quite abnormal, and a reprint set. That's how it was advertised, you know, all cards. It will be the first on the game until now. For the release date of sets, I will take the Asian release dates of the products, since it's what tested by Bandai all the time. We almost never had any delay in the product, unlike the West meta, or you know, the Japanese always intend to have their products advertised mainly for Japan and then the rest of the world. So I don't like it, but that's how it is. BT10 Cross Encounter was released the 27th of May. X3, the extra set, was released the 29th of July. 2 months later. Almost exactly 2 months later. Not that weird for an extra set. BT11 was released the 30th of September. Again, 2 months later the previous set. The difference between main sets, it's 4 months here, but normally it's 3, which the existence of the extra set is kinda special, so they give you 4 months, something in between. It's a special situation, honestly. But here is the catch. BT12 has its release date on the 30th of November. This is 2 months between this and the last set, but these are main sets, and 2 months between main sets is too soon. Yeah, it's definitely too soon. So we continue. X4, the next extra set, is confirmed to be at the end of December, only 1 month after BT12. So to add even more salt to the wound, the extra set that is confirmed to have unique cards and is not only a reprint set is for the middle of January, not even a month after X4. Honestly, this is weird. Bandai trying to release so many cards in the shortest amount of time and between phases of the World Championship just feels like they are shooting themselves in the foot. There are two possibilities here. One is that they want to do a quick cash grab using this big event as an ad, and they don't know they can overflow the players with cards, which honestly this is the most likely, being honest. Or they feel like the reinvention they did for the game needs to fill a pool of relevant cards fast before players get bored or get annoyed of the few mechanics that are out there. And honestly, I don't believe it's that much crazy of a theory, but I will be giving them too much credit for it. As James White, creator of Flesh and Blood, brilliantly said, you need to have time to enjoy the product, and all this is just too fast. So with the confirmation that in January we will have the first reprint set of the game, the list is 20 commons, 25 uncommons, 33 rares, 21 super rares, and 6 secrets. Oh, and 17 promos. This set will confirm what kind of cards Bandai want to keep for the archetypes in the future, and which ones should be discarded. For example, I don't see the old Imperial Diamond cards being reprinted. Let's be honest, the Imperial Diamond cards from BT3 are just bad in comparison to the DOS after BT8. It rewards you more for playing the Digimons of Imperi lore, and the low levels have more skills than before. This makes me believe that the super rares and secrets that are going to be reprinted are cards that Bandai is planning to revive thanks to new archetypes like Craniamon or Lord Naimon, or just trying to get the prices down of already expensive cards like Blackwack Greymon, Shine Greymon, Duckmon, Machine Dramon, or the BT9 OTK cards. Having 17 promo cards in this release set really shows how much the price of some have gone up and reprinting became just mandatory. With all this talking I have done, probably not the best video ever, but I hope that I have expressed the point of view I have from the game post BT8 that actually makes me believe that the game is doing good and it's not like just power creep after power creep. As always, the Digimon fanbase have a short memory about previous sets. They really discard the decks super fast, even when they are still good or relevant or could be perfectly used. Playing Blue Flare in X3 and got obliterated by Imperial Diamond of BT8. I don't see any power creep there. Or you can really use the same deck from BT8, but you have to upgrade it a little each time, and will still be the same deck, but with some tech that can help to become, part of the new meta. But it's not like the old cards from BT8, BT9 and BT10 are useless in comparison to BT11 or BT12. They are just different, but they are very useful. I think that's all. I could give a million of examples, but the video is already long enough. I have expressed what I wanted to do. If you can see the same point of view, that's okay. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Could be interesting. You could discover something that I didn't. You could disprove all this. I mean, I don't think that what I have shared is solid proof of everything, but it's just a point of view of how the game is not just power creeping after power creeping. But tell me what you think in the comments below. So thank you for watching. See you in another video. Bye bye.